Alright, welcome back everybody to the live stream. Thank you guys so much for being here. I figured out how to get my video recording camera to set up for streaming, so that's pretty exciting. So this is going to be a much better picture if I can figure out how to get it. What's up, Kai, Nokel? Also, if I am pronouncing that wrong, please tell me. But thanks for being here, as always. I think the Dolphins can beat the 49ers today. I'm not super confident, but I think it's possible. Alright, let me get something set up on my phone here real quick. Thank you again for being here as always. As I do this. Alrighty. Oh, 1 second. Alright, cool. Thank you guys for being here as always. Quick update on the channel before I get started. The O is pronounced a bit like the year in burn. So Kai Nurkel? Nurkel, is that correct? Am I closer? Alright, while you type and let me know how I'm butchering your name. Quick update on the channel. So, a lot closer. Alright, cool. Kai Nurkel. Quick update on the channel. I should have my application approved for sure every game I picked last week was wrong. Same dude. But I should have my application approved by YouTube for ads here soon. I hit the watch time requirement, so that's pretty exciting for me. So I'll start getting a little bit of money coming in from YouTube ads. You guys will probably get ads at the beginning and end of my videos going forward, but it was my goal to have that by the Super Bowl, and I did it before the end of the calendar year. So that's pretty cool. So just want to let you guys know I'm very thankful for you guys showing up to the live stream, watching my videos. I genuinely do enjoy making these videos and doing this stuff. Like, I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it, you know? It's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy doing it. And the fact that you guys show up and like it and watch and then join me on these live streams as well, it's super cool. And like, I wouldn't be where I'm at today with this channel without all of you guys, so I'm very, very appreciative. And it's Christmas season, so I'm a sensitive man who's all up in my feels, so I am just truly, truly thankful for you guys. It's really, it means a lot to me. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool little thing that I'll start making small amounts of money on this. So thank you everybody for everything you do. It really does matter to me. And like I said, when you guys show up and talk with me in the chat or leave comments on my videos, it's really cool and I really appreciate it. So thank you again. All right, we'll talk about the games that have already happened real quick. The Broncos-Chargers game, that was kind of a wild one. The Broncos dominated the first half, and then the Chargers dominated the second half. For some reason, the Broncos just chose to stop running the ball, and I have no idea why. It was working for them in the first half, and it didn't make sense to me, but yeah, I mean, whatever. What do I know? So the Chargers should lock up the 6th seed unless they charger down the season, and the Broncos should get the 7th seed. I could see the Dolphins sneaking in. I'm not betting on it. Yeah, the Broncos did charger it, 100%. I could see them sneaking in somehow. I could see the Bengals definitely sneaking in because the Bengals play the Chargers, so that's a big game coming up. I think that's next week if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's the 6th seed is probably going to be the Chargers. The 5th seed is probably going to be either the Ravens or Baltimore. I'm thinking it's more or the Ravens or the Steelers. I think it's more likely going to be the Steelers. I see the Ravens probably winning the NFC North. Their schedule looks a little bit easier than the Steelers coming up. So it's going to be one of those two teams for the 5th seed. And then Broncos most likely for the 7th seed. But like I said, the Bengals sneaking in wouldn't surprise me. I think the Dolphins still can. I'm not betting on it, though. Yeah. This is my final thoughts for the Thursday game. The Texans got hosed by the refs and the Chiefs on yesterday during their game. That fumble by Patrick Mahomes that was reversed for a roughing the passer penalty was one of the most Bush League calls I've ever seen. Also, Tank Dell has broken his leg in the final weeks of the season, 2 seasons in a row. I feel really bad for him. I feel really bad for Texans fans in general. Like I like Tank Dell. I liked him a lot last year as a rookie. I liked him this year. He was playing really well, coming back from injury and stuff. And it's just a real bummer, man. Like that just sucks for him, and like sucks for the Texans because like outside Nico Collins, they don't really have anybody to throw the ball to. So that's going to hurt them in the playoffs. But the Chiefs win again. Chiefs are one more win away from the 1 seed in the AFC. So they need to lose to both the Steelers and the Broncos to not get the 1 seed. I don't see that happening. The Chiefs gonna chief. Oh yeah, it looked really, really bad. Like when the broadcast was like, we're not gonna show you the other angle because of how gruesome it is, like that's when you know it was bad. And like the poor dude broke his leg, like I think it was like week 15 or week 16 of last year or something like that too. Like it just sucks for him, and I feel horrible. And then Pittsburgh at the Ravens. This was a decently close game. Like the Steelers moved the ball really well. The Ravens also moved the ball really well. But Russell Wilson's fumble on the goal line on that scramble was a killer, and then the pick six was also a killer. So George Pickens not playing for the Steelers does make a difference, but like that loss was pretty much on Russ in my opinion. Derrick Henry ran the ball all over the place. Lamar had a pretty good game throwing the ball. That one interception wasn't great, but other than that, he played pretty well, which is good because for some reason, like whenever Lamar plays the Steelers, they throw him in a blender, and so it was good to see that Lamar played pretty well against him this time around. But yeah, I know I have a lot of Steelers fans who watch these videos and watch these live streams. Speaking of injuries, the second we cut OBJ, we of course get 2 receivers injured. Yeah, Grant Dubow's going down. That was not great. Jalen Waddle, his injury, Waddle is going to be fine, but he might not play this week, which is also a bummer. Yeah, I'm kind of over this season for the Dolphins. It's heartbreaking at this point, but it is what it is. We just need to stop signing and drafting injury-prone players. Like, I get where Chris Greer is coming from, where he's like, oh, they're undervalued because they had injuries in college or they have an injury history, but like they're probably gonna get injured again, and it drives me insane. Whatever, it is what it is. Yeah, overall, really good game by the Ravens. I think the Ravens are gonna win the AFC North now. Like I said, I know I have Steelers fans who are viewers. I have a couple good friends of mine who are Steelers fans, and they were both pretty heartbroken about that. So, at least he's not Woody. Yeah. At least we're not choosing who to trade and who to pick based off Madden ratings. So we do have that for us. All the Calais Campbell talk being granted his release. Any thoughts? I really like Calais Campbell. For being like 38-year-old defensive tackle or however old he is, like it is insane the level that he's playing at right now. And the guy wanted to like play for a Super Bowl contender, which is why he went to the Dolphins in the offseason. So yeah, he's been nothing but a consummate professional. He's been a really good dude, both on and off the field. Earlier in the season, when they were talking about trading him, I was in support of Mike McDaniel being like, no, we're absolutely not going to trade this guy. Because like the Dolphins still had a shot to run to the Super Bowl at that point. I don't think they have a shot to run to the Super Bowl at this point. If they sneak into the playoffs, like that would be cool, but that has a very low chance of happening. So yeah, I think it would be the right thing by Calais Campbell to grant his release and then let him go to like the Ravens or like as long as he doesn't go to the Chiefs or the Bills, like I'm fine with that. So yeah, if they want to release Calais Campbell, I'm okay with it at this point. I didn't want them to trade him earlier because, like I said, he was awesome when Tyreek was yanked out of the. Yeah, no, like I said, everything I've heard about him, both on and off the field, in the locker room, all that stuff, like he seems like a really good dude. And if the Dolphins aren't going to make the playoffs, yeah, like release him and let him sign with like the Lions or the Ravens, a team that legitimately like needs a good defensive tackle and can make the Super Bowl, like I think that's doing right by him, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, I really, like I said, whatever team he goes to, as long as it's not the Bills and the Chiefs, I think they should let him do that. But that's just my opinion. I know there was the Shaq Barrett thing earlier this season too, where he came out of retirement and they didn't grant his release. Like that, I was fine with, because the dude screwed over the Dolphins like on the eve of training camp, and then wanted to go to like the Bucks or like another like the Eagles or something like that. Like Shaq Barrett, like he can go screw himself, in my opinion. Calais Campbell has done everything right, and I think that is fair if they grant his release and let him go to another team. Like that doesn't bother me. So if they choose to do that, all the best for Calais. I want nothing but the best for him. Like I said, seems like a really good dude, so I'm fine with it. All right. First game. Are you concerned about Hill? Heard that he said something on X. Yeah, I saw his tweet. He said something about quitting and going coaching, and like, I don't know. I'm at the point where it's keep Waddle, keep Achane, Jonnu Smith, and Tua on offense, and then just revamp everything. Rebuild the interior offensive line. Patrick Paul has looked pretty good at left tackle. Austin Jackson, when he plays, is a really good right tackle, in my opinion, but similarly to a lot of Dolphins players, he's very injury prone and can't stay on the field. Jalen Phillips is one of those guys. I love Jalen Phillips. Like, I think he is a phenomenal football player. The dude has an injury history going back to college. He's had an Achilles tear last year, an ACL tear this year. Like, it's just, the Dolphins love injury-prone players, and Tyreek Hill has had his share of injuries as well. So if he said something about like he wants to go coach or something like that. So like, I don't know. He hasn't been impressing me a whole lot this year. Like, it's a far cry from 2022 and 2023. So I'm okay with them getting rid of Hill and keeping like Tua, Jonnu Smith, Achane, and Waddle, and then revamping the entire offense. Like, that's fine by me. Keep Jalen Wright. Jalen Wright, he needs to touch the ball more. Dude's a big back that can run. I'm not super concerned. Like I said, I want a lot of changes in offensive personnel, and if we get rid of Tyreek Hill, had great 2 seasons in Miami, hasn't had a great season this year. So yeah, if they get rid of him, that's totally fine by me, honestly. Okay, first game. We have the Giants at the Falcons. We're having Michael Penix Jr. get his NFL debut as quarterback, which is super, super exciting. I have been a fan of Michael Penix Jr. since he torched Penn State in their season opener like 2-3 years ago or something like that, when he was playing at Indiana still. I liked him when he went to Washington. I think he's a very good quarterback. And Kirk Cousins has been playing like hot garbage for the past 5 games, 5-6 games or whatever it is. And I think it was a smart move. Like, the Falcons, their offensive line is a little rough, but like Drake London and Chubb is also regular in the blue tent. Yeah, Chop looks good. Chubb is similar to Jalen Phillips. Like, I like him and I think he is a good player, but like the dude has a long history of injuries. And I love Bradley Chubb. I am a Penn State fan. I loved Bradley Chubb when he was at Penn State, or not Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson when he was at Penn State, and I was super happy when the Dolphins drafted him, and he looks like a stud, and he has no history of injury. He gets banged up, has some tweaks here and there, but like nothing major. Chop looks great. If Jalen Phillips can stay healthy, Bradley Chubb can stay healthy, our pass rush is insane. So, and yeah, I think Penix is winning. The Giants are so bad. Like, whether it's Tommy DeVito or Drew Lock playing, like their offense is bad. I said in my power rankings video earlier this week, like the Ravens should be ashamed that the Giants scored 14 points on them. I am shocked if Brian Daboll keeps his job after this season. They could be tanking for a quarterback. I know it's the Shadur Sanders sweepstakes is between the Giants and the Raiders at this point. I think Shadur is probably going to go to the Raiders. But yeah, the Giants' offense is bad. I like Tyrone Tracy Jr. I like Malik Neighbors, but they don't have much else going for them. And the Falcons' offensive line is suspect. you know. But Bijan Robinson, Drake London, the other receiver who played for the Bears, whose name is escaping me at the moment, all very, very good players. The Giants' defense is not very good. Yeah, it should be, the Falcons should win this. 9.5 points is a pretty big spread, so I didn't pick him, but I could also see the Falcons winning by more than 10 points, so I didn't pick the Giants either. I didn't bet on this game at all. Not AJ, I'm just going to look up his name real quick. Depth chart. Darnell Mooney, that's who I was thinking of. Yeah, he had a rough time when he was at the Bears with Justin Fields, but like he's been playing pretty well for the Falcons. And I think I like Kirk Cousins. I like Kirk Cousins back to his Washington days. I always thought he was a very like hated quarterback for no reason, but like he's old. He's coming off the Achilles tear. Like it was a big signing and it didn't work out for him. The only way the Giants win is if Penix has a bad start and Vito gets his November magic from last year. Yeah. 10-28 Falcons. I think that's solid. Like I said, it just 9.5 points is a big spread, and it's like, it's the NFL. Most games are closer than that, and like I don't think the Falcons are like a dominant team that can really blow anybody out. I could be totally wrong with Penix Jr. But yeah, the dude has been impressive everywhere he went in college. We haven't seen him in the preseason or we saw him in relief a couple times this year, and he made some good throws, but like, yeah, the Falcons should win this pretty easily with Penix Jr. I don't see the Giants keeping it close, but that spread's just a little too big for me. Next up, we got the Lions at the Bears. The Lions' defense is just banged up. David Montgomery going down is also a huge bummer for the Lions. But the Bears are bad. The Bears are really bad. Lion Bear. The thing is, like, the Lions have like 18, 20 players on IR, something crazy like that, But their offense is still really good. Their offensive line is incredible. Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, phenomenal players. Brian Branch being hurt is not great. Yeah, it's 22. Yeah, 22 players on IR and they're still 12-2 is absolutely insanity. Like, credit to Dan Campbell and the coaching staff and everybody. Just phenomenal that they are still playing competitive and like really good football despite having that many injuries. Like, that is unreal. What else do I have to say in this game? The Bears' offense is bad. It's still going to be bad. It is a divisional game, so like I think the Bears are going to keep it close and probably cover the spread. Did I bet the Bears? No. But I could also see the Lions the Lions are going to win this game regardless. But it's a weird NFC North divisional game. I could see the Bears keeping it close, but the Lions should win it, in my opinion. Their offense just has way too many good things going for them. This could be close. Lions just don't have a defense anymore. Yeah, that's kind of my thought, but it's just, man, the Bears' offense is bad. Caleb Williams, I think Caleb Williams will be a good player. Hi, Mom. I think he will be a very good player, but he needs to learn to not just hold on to the ball forever, in my opinion. They need to give him a better offensive line. The issue is, he takes a lot of sacks because Caleb Williams doesn't throw the ball when he should, and also, their offensive line has switched keys and they can't run the ball very well. And that's not a good combination for good offensive football in the NFL. So yeah, the Bears, like I said, division games, weird things happen. Lions defense is beat up. Lions win big just on the power of grit. They really have been, man. Them almost coming back last week against the Bills was incredible to me. Because the Bills, the Lions should beat up on the Bears because the Bears suck. The Bills are a very good Super Bowl contending team, as much as it hurts me to say that. And the fact that they almost came back and win that game despite not playing any defense was unreal. So, yeah, I didn't bet the Lions to cover the spread just because it's an NFC North divisional game, and I don't know, those games are weird and they could stay close, but the Lions should win this game. I don't think the Bears are going to pull this one out. Next up, we have the Browns at the Bengals, the Battle of Ohio. The Bengals have been very hot. The O-line of the Bears is killing Caleb's spirit. Yeah, they got to give him a good offensive line, man. Like, he's got good receivers, and like I like Caleb a lot. I liked him since he played at Oklahoma. I think he will be a very successful quarterback in the NFL, but they need to give him a better offensive line, honestly. All right, Browns at Bengals. Bengals are 9.5-point spreads. I took the Browns in this one, and I'm probably going to end up regretting it, but I do think the Browns keep it close. I think as long as Jameis Winston doesn't throw like 80 interceptions, the Browns should be able to score some points because the Bengals defense is really bad. And the Bengals are going to score points. The Bengals have a lot of issues, and the offensive side of the ball is not one of them. Joe Burrow is playing incredible. It is at home in Cincinnati. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, Chase Brown, phenomenal weapons. Mike Gesicki's having a decent year in Cincinnati. So the Bengals are going to score points. And like I said, as long as Jameis Winston doesn't throw like 8 interceptions, which like I know that's asking a lot because Jameis Winston loves to throw interceptions. The Browns should stay in it, but the Bengals are going to win. I see the Bengals winning by like 5 points or something like that. The ideal outcome for the Finns is the Browns winning. Yeah, I agree. I don't think they will. Like I said, I think somehow, some way, the Bengals are going to sneak into the playoffs and go on a little run. Like, that's going to be like, because weird stuff always happens at the end of the season. You know what I mean? And like I think the Bengals are probably going to be that weird thing that happens at the end of this season. Like they're going to somehow sneak into the playoffs. They might beat like the Bills, who will probably end up getting the 2 seed, and then maybe like play well against the Ravens or the Chiefs or whatever. That's like that happening wouldn't at all surprise me. So yeah, the Browns will keep it close because the Bengals defense is really bad, but the Bengals should win this game. But I don't know, weirder things have happened. They're on a 2-game win streak. Browns are on a 3-game losing streak. Yeah, the Bengals are going to win this. I don't think they cover the spread, though. 9.5 points is a lot of points. And weird things, similar to the NFC North, weird things happen in the AFC North. So I see the Browns covering the spread despite still losing. All right. Next up, we have the Titans at the Colts. Will Levis is officially benched, to my knowledge. He also has an injury, which I did not know about until this very moment. Both of these teams are bad, but the Colts are less bad, and I think they win. Despite the Titans have a decent defense, their offense has been bad with Will Levis, but like, I don't know. I still like Will Levis. I shouldn't, but like, it's just something about the guy. But it's probably the memes, but I like him. He's shown moxie, he's shown grit, whatever you want to call it. But the interceptions are bad, and to be in Will Levis's defense, similar to Caleb Williams, Titans' offensive line is horrendous. It's so bad. So whether it's Levis or Mason Rudolph, Mayo God's benching makes me sad, but it's for the best. He needs time to develop. Yeah, and whether he plays or it's Mason Rudolph in this game, the Titans' pass protection is so bad. And like the Colts' defensive line with DeForest Buckner and the other dude who's really good, whose name is escaping me, Kwity Paye, Grover Stewart, like these three, like, they just dominate people. Like their front four is absolutely incredible, and they're gonna beat up on a bad Titans offensive line in this game. So I think the Colts are going to win pretty easily. I believe I took the Colts. No, I didn't take the Colts. Whatever. This is going to be an ugly, sloppy game. I still believe in Anthony Richardson, but the dude has like a 45% completion percentage or something crazy like that. Had a rough game against the Broncos last week. And to be fair, the Broncos defense is really good. But yeah, Anthony Richardson has all the talent and potential in the world. I would just like for it to come through and be seen at some point, outside of like a handful of plays a game. Jonathan Taylor is still really good despite dropping the ball on the goal line, which was a backbreaker for them against the Broncos. It's in Indy. Yeah, I see the Colts winning. I don't know if they covered 3.5 points though. I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans won, but it's probably going to be the Colts. And poor Will Levis. He's just a goober, the Mayo God, the meme king. I want him to be successful and be in the NFL forever because he's hilarious. But he had a rough game against the Bengals last week. All right, next up we have the Los Angeles Rams at the New York Jets. The Rams have won 7 out of their last 9 games, which they did this last year where they got hot. The Rams are 3-point favorites. I smashed that 3 points. I still, for the life of me, the Jets still get favorable spreads. They still get stuff like that, and I don't get it. I don't get it at all. They had, excuse me. I can't believe the Rams are only laying 3. Yeah, I 100% agree. Like I said, when I saw 3 points, I smashed that bet. I'm like, the Rams are going to beat the Jets by 2 touchdowns probably. And the Jets played well against Mac Jones and the Jaguars. Congratulations. And they put up 26 points against a bad Dolphins defense. But I hope the Rams win this. I'm a Matt Stafford fan. Also, F the Jets. Yeah, I like Stafford a lot. I liked him since he played in Detroit. One of the most underrated quarterbacks ever, in my opinion. And I am a low-key Rams fan. Sean McVay went to the same college that I did, so he always has a soft spot in my heart. Like I said, I don't root for the Rams the way I root for the Dolphins, but I'm a low-key fan. I was pretty happy when they won the Super Bowl back in 2021. And yeah, I hate the Jets. I don't think I make any any effort to hide it or any attempt to hide it on this channel, but I hate the Jets. My thing with the Jets is the Bills. I hate the Bills, but the Bills are very good, and Josh Allen is incredible, and I respect the Bills. The Patriots had one of the greatest sports dynasties, if not the greatest sports dynasty over the course of 20 years, and I hate the Patriots, but I respect the Patriots. The Jets continue to get favorable spreads and favorable hype, and I don't get why. Yeah, the Rams are outside of the Lions, the Rams are my biggest bandwagon team too. I just love the Lions, man. But the Rams are a close 2 as far as my bandwagon team. And I think they're going to run the ball and throw the ball all over a bad Jets defense. I think Jared Verse and their really good defensive tackle, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, it's Aaron Rodgers is just one of the most unlikable people in the NFL. It's just, the dude is absolutely insane. Not gonna lie, I'm reveling in the suffering of the Jets this year. Same, dude. The Jets being bad makes me feel so much better about the Dolphins having a rough season. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is washed. He's crazy. He's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Breece Hall is a very overhyped running back, in my opinion. Garrett Wilson is good. I will not argue with the fact that Garrett Wilson is a very good receiver. But Sauce Gardner gets credited as one of the greatest cornerbacks in the NFL. He's not that good. When he's not holding on every play, he's not a very good cornerback. And yeah, the Jets getting hype week after week, year after year, it drives me absolutely insane. So like I said, I smashed Rams -3. I think they win by 2 touchdowns. The Rams are one of the hottest teams in the NFL. They're making a playoff push. Everybody is healthy for the most part. The real issue with the Rams is their offensive line is not that good, but outside of that, they are a very good football team. And like I said, it blows my mind that the Jets get favorable spreads every single week. I do not get it. I simply cannot wrap my brain around it. But yeah, we're pulling for the Rams. Want the Rams to win that one big. Next up, we have the Eagles at the Commanders. The Rams were my preseason pick to win the NFC West, and I'm a 49ers fan. Yeah, they're just a good, well-coached football team, and they struggle with injuries a lot, but when they're healthy, they're good. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are arguably the best receiving combo in the NFL. The Eagles might take the cake with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but they're phenomenal. Yeah, when you have Puka Nacua catching 50-yard pass every week, that team is obviously going to win. Yeah, 100% agree with you on that one. Okay. Next up, we got the Eagles at the Commanders. The Kua Cup only rival by Chase Higgins. Yeah, I forgot about Chase Higgins. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith are pretty good. Trying to think who else. Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison are very good receivers. But yeah, it's Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Like they gotta be number one, right? Like there are other good receiving tandems, but just not as good as those two guys. All right, Eagles at Commanders. Eagles are 4-point favorites. I took the Commanders +4. I think the Eagles win this game, but I think they win by like a field goal. I know that Thursday night game when they first played in Philadelphia was a rough game for the Commanders. The Commanders, in my opinion, are a good, not great team. Jaden Daniels is phenomenal, but he's still a rookie quarterback, so it's kind of like, he's going to be better next year, in my opinion. And I don't think the Commanders are like a Super Bowl title team this year. Next year, I think they are. The Commies need to win this. The Lions get the 1 seed. I agree. I would love for the Lions to get the 1 seed. I don't think the Commanders win this, though. I think they keep it close, but yeah, like I said, I could see the Eagles winning this by like a touchdown. Need the Eagles to lose. And the Eagles being 3.5 is a good bet. Like I could see it going either way. It was like a 50-50, but I believe the Commanders will keep this one close. Like I was saying, the Commanders need another year and a couple more pieces on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And if they do that, I think they could be a Super Bowl contender next year, but I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender this year. Even if the Commanders win, the Vikings could still get the 1 seed. Yeah, that game next week between the Lions and the Vikings is going to be huge for NFC seeding. So that's going to be a fun one to watch next week. Yeah, because the Vikings, we'll get to them when we get to their game, but similarly, a very good team. The Falcons beat the Commanders in Week 17. The Commanders are out of the playoffs. Yeah, I don't see the Falcons beating the Commanders. We'll see how Michael Penix Jr. looks today, but I have little faith that's going to happen. But on the Eagles side of the ball, Jalen Hurts still looks really good. Saquon Barkley, love Saquon. I am so happy he finally has a good offensive line to run behind. And the defense in Philadelphia has been playing lights out, incredibly good for weeks now. Like it's been like 2 months and they've been playing phenomenal football. So yeah, it's on paper. It feels to me like the Eagles are going to win this one pretty handily. But divisional games, funky things happen. I think the Commanders are going to keep it close, but I don't think they win. I feel pretty confident the Eagles are going to win. But I like the Commanders. Like I said, I don't think they're quite there yet. They kind of remind me of like the Texans last year or the Packers last year, where it's like they're a good team, they're a winning football team, but they're not quite like that Super Bowl contending team. But I think they can get there next year. So Eagles should win, and but I wouldn't be surprised if the Commanders pulled it out. All right, next up we got the Cardinals at the Panthers. The Panthers were favored for the first time last week against the Cowboys, and they lost by a lot to Cooper Rush. On ESPN, the Cardinals are 5.5-point favorites. On DraftKings, which is what I use, they're 5-point favorites. I took the Panthers +5. Honestly, I know they laid a dud last week against the Cowboys. What they lost, 30-14. I could see the Panthers keeping this close. The battle of the short, honestly. When the Cardinals were on that little streak where they were winning and playing really well, I was fully on board the Cardinals bandwagon, but they disappointed me. I don't think the Cardinals are that good. I think the Panthers, despite laying an egg against the Cowboys last season, are better than people give them credit for. Xavier Legette being out is not great for them. But I don't know. Bryce Young's been impressing me. This isn't a game I would bet on. It could be Cardinals by 2 touchdowns or Panthers went outright. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts and feelings, but I don't know. I took the Panthers. I think they bounce back after a tough loss. And it's in Carolina, which is good for them. And the Cardinals, man, that 3-game loss streak where they could have proved it against the Seahawks and the Vikings. and they just laid eggs and all of them. Like, I don't know. I can't trust the Cardinals. I think the Panthers get a win. I really think they do. I think they're due for it. They've been playing good competitive football. Their defense is still really bad, but I don't know, man. Something about Dave Canales and Bryce Young just makes me believe. And I love Chuba Hubbard. He's a very good running back. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Their situation is a lot like the Patriots. Although, like, they have a little bit more things going for them on the offensive side of the ball, in my opinion. Like I was saying, I really like Chuba Hubbard. I think Xavier Legette is going to be a very good receiver in the NFL with Bryce Young. Their offensive line has some holes, but it's not too bad. Bryce Young is giving hope that the age on the Panthers might be over. Yeah, Bryce, he's playing with confidence, and it's like that makes a huge difference for a quarterback. Like, he's like doing celebrations and dances. He's whipping out spin moves against Micah Parsons. Like, yeah, him playing with confidence and having a good coach in Dave Canales. Like, Dave Canales revitalized Baker's career in Tampa Bay, and like look what Baker's doing now with another good offensive coordinator. So, I think Dave Canales is a very good coach. My biggest issue with the Panthers is their defense is so bad. They need to gut that entire defense and rebuild from scratch. Add a few more pieces on the offensive line, maybe one other good receiver. It all depends on if Kyler Murray plays COD this week. If he did, they win. I am sure Kyler Murray played COD this week. The Cardinals probably win, but I don't think they win by more than 5.5 points. Like I said, I don't know. Something about the Panthers gives me hope. It's a purely emotional thing at this point, but I like the Panthers. I like Bryce Young, so yeah, I don't know. I think they cover. I think they win the game. Watch Tepper fire him because he complained about something irrelevant. Dude, if Tepper fires Dave Canales, then the Panthers deserve to be sad and lose every football game for forever. Like, he took what everybody was saying was like a huge bust in Bryce Young and makes him look like a good quarterback. Like, you cannot fire Dave Canales. It is just insanity. Give him like another year, 2 more years, and if they're not winning in a competitive football team, fine. Then fire Dave Canales, but you cannot fire the guy after this season. That would be absolute insanity. All right, we got Minnesota at the Vikings for the first of the afternoons, or we have the Vikings at the Seahawks for the first of the afternoon slate. The Vikings are a very good football team. People were hating on Sam Darnold. People are still hating on Sam Darnold, and I don't get why. Like, I get it. He's throwing the ball to T.J. Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, and Jordan Addison. Like, a very good tight end and 2 very good receivers. Vikings -3 is another lock. The Seahawks are nowhere near as good as their record. Yeah, I took the Seahawks +3. I don't know. I think something funky happens in this one. But I agree. They aren't as good as an 8-6 record. My thing with the Seahawks, though, their defense is actually solid under Mike McDonald now. Like, Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon are phenomenal football players. Like, Mike McDonald has like implemented and built a very good defense in Seattle. My issue with the Seahawks is their offensive line is just absolute Swiss cheese. Like, Brian Flores and the Vikings defense are going to get after Geno Smith all game long. And Geno has been covering a bad Vikings offensive line, or bad Seahawks offensive line for a while now. The Vikings weren't tied with the Lions for the division lead. I could be on board with that, but I don't think the Vikings fumble this. Yeah, I don't know. I could see... My thing is... And yes, KOC is his head coach, but I don't get the Sam Darnold hate. Definitely comeback player of the year. I agree. Like, Sam Darnold, he has his interception issues. He had that stretch of games, and that's why I picked the Seahawks in this one. I could see this being a Sam Darnold throws like 3 picks, and the Seahawks stay in it that way. But I agree. Like, the dude makes impressive throws. Like, it's not like he's just checking it down and they're like getting tons of yards, or he's throwing it to wide open guys. Like, one of his touchdowns, I think it was against the Bears or either the week before. MVP is a bit of a stretch, but yeah, it definitely exceeded all expectations. And like, it was either against the Bears or the week before where he like threw one of the most like tight passes I've ever seen. Like he like layered it in between like 3 defenders. I hope that Flores goes caveman mode again. Skulls cover 0 a million times. That would be awesome. That is classic Brian Flores. I don't know if he does it. I don't think he has to do it in this game. Van Ginkel, my favorite ex-Dolphins player, and their other pass rusher, who I'm going to look up his name right now. I think they're going to get home without him having to call cover 0. Where is it? Kamagraje Hill, yeah. Former Dolphins just all across the Vikings defensive, which just really bums me out, but whatever, it is what it is. But no, I think Gink is just going to go crazy, and he's going to get home a lot. I think the Vikings defense as a whole is going to get home a lot against Geno Smith. Yeah, me too, man. I miss Van Ginkel a lot. I wish they offered him a contract. No, I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. And the Vikings probably win, but I could see the Seahawks keeping it close and covering. I don't know. To me, this is like the wild game of the week where things happen that they shouldn't happen. And like I said, somehow the Seahawks get like 3 interceptions and win this game. That's really what I'm betting on at this point. That's why I picked the Seahawks +3. Do I have any like factual basis for it? No. It's just like, I don't know. It's just a gut feeling that I have. So that's why I picked Seahawks +3. If the Vikings win by like 2 touchdowns, I wouldn't be shocked either. Sam Darnold's been playing impressive. I don't think he's going to stay in Minnesota next year. I think they're going to probably move on to J.J. McCarthy because in the preseason game that J.J. McCarthy played, he made some impressive throws. I think he's going to be really good. I loved him when he was back at Michigan with Harbaugh. But yeah, I don't know. This is the game that I pick where I think something funky happens. I want to say something disparaging about the Vikings, but at this point, even I have to give them credit for being a good team. Yeah. Go one and done in the playoffs. Darnold will get paid somewhere. I could see that happening too. Yeah. But I don't know. I think Kevin O'Connell is a phenomenal coach. Yeah, I agree with you. Unless Darnold wins 2 or more playoffs, if he wins 2 or more playoff games, he'll probably stay in Minnesota. Yeah, I agree. The playoffs do depend, but like, I don't know. I don't think the Vikings are going to make it to like the NFC Championship game or Super Bowl. I could very well be wrong about that. I love KOC. I think he's a phenomenal coach, but yeah, I don't see Sam Darnold taking them all the way. That's fair. That is fair. Like I said, the me betting on the Seahawks this week, it was my like, this is going to be a weird game where weird things happen, and I think the Seahawks are going to win it. I will probably be very, very wrong about that, but I don't know. Next up, we have the Patriots at the Bills. The Bills are 14-point favorites. I really wanted to bet the Bills 14 points, but I stayed away from it just because 14 is a lot of points. Yeah, the Bills are the best team in the AFC right now. I know the Chiefs are 13-1 or 14-1 or wherever they're at, and they're probably going to get the 1 seed, but like, the Bills are so good, man. I know their defense had a couple rough games against the Rams and the Lions, but the Lions and the Rams offense are both phenomenal. 2 divisional games in the playoffs. It's crazy that the Lions could have 2 divisional games in the playoffs. Yeah, that is nuts. They probably will end up playing both the Vikings and the Packers. I wouldn't be shocked about that. Don't listen to me about betting, Lowell. I picked this. Yeah, don't listen to me about betting either. I went like 1-8 last week. It was a rough week for me. Like I said, betting, the NFL is so weird where it's like you think you have it figured out and then like just crazy things happen and you're totally wrong. Like I said, I'm betting on the Seahawks game being that crazy game where crazy things happen. I really, really wanted to pick the Bills -14 in this one. It's just 14 points is a lot of points. The Bills probably win by like 30, honestly. And, you know, the Patriots like put up like 10 points or something like that. But 14 points is a lot of points in my opinion. Josh Allen's probably going to get MVP this year. I know Ravens fans out there are going to say it's Lamar, but like, as much as I hate the Bills, as much as I hate what they do to me, yeah, 14 points is high, but the Patriots are that bad. I 100% agree with you. I just have a tough time betting a 14-point favorite in the NFL. It's just like too many points in my opinion. But I agree with you. The line does need to be that high. No, I think the Bills wash the Patriots in this one. Drake May's good, which kind of bums me out as a Patriots hater, but I gotta give it to him. Drake May's good. That's pretty much the only thing that the Patriots have going for him. May isn't bad, and the Bills' D is... Pass just suck, thankfully. Yeah. The Bills' D, like I said, they had a rough stretch the past 2 weeks against these two teams, but the Patriots' offense is nowhere near on the level of the Lions and the Rams' offense. So, they're not getting 40 points scored on them again this week. I think Drake May is going to make some impressive throws, and he's still going to look good. But the rest of the Patriots, they're just so bad. Like, their defense is bad. They don't have good receivers. They don't have a good running back. They don't have a good offensive line. Like, outside of the quarterback position, the Patriots have nothing going for them. And I think the Bills just stomp on them in this game, honestly. All right, next up, we have the Jaguars at the Raiders. This is the toilet bowl of the game, of the week. The Jaguars are 3-11. The Raiders are 2-12. Both their starting quarterbacks are on IR. And it's going to be Desmond Ridder versus McCorkle Jones. I don't know. I'm not putting this game on one of my TVs. It's not worth it. Did I bet this game? Oh, let me scroll up. No, I didn't bet this game. Okay. This game's just going to be bad from start to finish. I don't want to watch it. Either team could win. I wouldn't be surprised if either team won. Bright spot for the Raiders. Brock Bowers is incredible. Brock Bowers is living up to the hype of the first-round draft pick and one of the best tight end prospects to come into the league in the last 20 years. The dude is so good. And then Brian Thomas Jr. for the Jaguars is also a very good receiver. These two guys are pretty much the only bright spot. The Jags will somehow win this shit show themselves. The Jaguars probably will win this because the Raiders are tanking. The Raiders went bold decision. Matt Judon lost Bill Belichick, coaching staff now. Brock Bowers is an outside shot of Offensive Rookie of the Year. Honestly, yeah, I agree with you. I think Brock Bowers should definitely be in the conversation. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, it's gonna be Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix. I think it's probably gonna be Bo Nix, seeing as how the season has gone recently. Although Bo Nix has had a couple rough games, but whatever. I agree with you. It's probably going to be one of those two guys. But I do think Brock Bowers deserves to be in the conversation and deserves to be a legitimate discussion for Offensive Rookie of the Year because the dude is so good. I've watched a handful of Raider games this year. I don't sit down and watch them intently like how I do other teams. Chop for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm trying to think. Who are other good defensive rookies? Because it's probably going to be Jared Verse, if we're being honest. I love Chop, and I think he's good, but Jared Verse gets a lot more of the national hype for the Rams, so that's probably who it's going to be. I'm trying to think. Who are the other good defensive rookies that are playing this year? Quinyon Mitchell for the Eagles is probably going to be in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year, too. So, yeah, I think Chop deserves to be in the conversation. I don't think he's going to win it, though. Who do you think will be the Offensive Player of the Year? Offensive Player of the Year? Probably Saquon. Saquon is in the MVP conversation, and if Saquon doesn't win MVP, he 100% deserves Offensive Player of the Year. The difference that he makes for the Eagles is crazy. Definitely not Latu. Yeah, I agree. Brock Bowers should be in the conversation. Yeah, McConkey should be in the conversation. Brian Thomas Jr. should be in the conversation. I agree. Probably premature to take Derrick Henry out of the conversation. Say JD or Jaden Daniels. Yeah. Yeah, I think Jaden Daniels probably is going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, but like these two guys, Bo Nix, I don't think they should be out of the conversation. Yeah, Derrick Henry should be in the running for Offensive Player of the Year, though. My thing is, Derrick Henry is so good. I really like Derrick Henry. Yeah, it's a race between those two, and I think Saquon is just edging him out a little bit. Obviously, it's going to depend on how these last couple weeks of the season go. But I think what Saquon does for the Eagles Offensive Rookie of the Year. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably going to be Jaden Daniels. But no, Offensive Player of the Year, what I think Saquon has done for the Eagles offense is just incredible. And it's like you give the guy a good offensive line, and like, yeah, he's going to show up and be one of the best running backs in the league. But that's not a knock on Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is still one of the best running backs of all time, one of the best to ever do it. I think Saquon just edges him out a little bit, though. But I agree with you. It is a race between those two. I think Saquon is currently winning the race at this point in time, though. Yeah, so we really got off topic for Jaguars and Raiders. Jaguars probably win because Raiders are tanking, and I think that's probably what's going to end up happening in this one. All right, next up we got the 49ers and the Dolphins. On ESPN, the 49ers are 2.5-point favorites. DraftKings, which is what I use, they are 2-point favorites. I bet the Dolphins +2 because I'm a fan. I have very, very low expectations going into this game. I should watch the Drift Pod. He makes great NFL edits. I will check it out. I have very low expectations going into this game. I know the 49ers are injured to all hell, but it's just the Dolphins are going to lose. And I just know they are, and it breaks my heart to say that. It breaks my heart to feel that way, but I don't think the Dolphins are going to win this game. I think they're going to be officially out of the playoffs after this. It's been a rough season. I am very down in the dumps and pessimistic on the Dolphins. That Packers Thanksgiving night game where they just bullied the Dolphins from start to finish really broke my heart. Yeah, if Brock Purdy gets hurt, the Dolphins win this. That's pretty much the only way they're winning it, though. Tyreek Hill might not play. Tyreek Hill hasn't been having a great season. Jalen Waddle might not play, to my knowledge. The Dolphins' offensive line is still really bad. The 49ers, I don't know. It's just like, I think the Suns are slightly better. It's a slow game with mostly field goals. You're probably right. There's probably going to be a lot of field goals. And I agree. On paper, I think the Dolphins are slightly better than the 49ers. But, it's a big game in a big spot. And the Dolphins are going to let me down. I know they will. And that's really... But I still bet them anyway, +2, because I got to. I'm a fan. But they're going to let me down. I know it. They always do. Devon Achane's still really good. The only other thing is the 49ers going from out west to all the way to South Florida. That's a lot of travel, and that does make a difference. But yeah, Shanahan's going to have him more prepared. He's going to be inside Mike McDaniel's head. Spent 3 hours on a Twitter or Blue Sky post about the insane ways. That's going to be invalidated this week. I feel like we're on the same page where you think the 49ers are going to disappoint you, and I think the Dolphins are going to disappoint me. And I think regardless of who wins this game, we're both going to end up being disappointed, honestly. Regardless of the outcome, we're going to be like, oh, I don't feel good about either one of our teams. I feel like that's how this one's going to shake out. But yeah, I have the Dolphins +2. I'm a fan. I don't think they're going to win. And it's going to make me sad. All right, we got the Sunday night game coming up. We got the Monday night game. We got 8 minutes left in the stream, so I'm going to go through these relatively quickly. The Bucks are at the Cowboys. I think the Bucks are going to just dominate the Cowboys. Cooper Rush and the Cowboys beat the Panthers last week. Both teams probably wanted to tank a bit anyway. You're probably right. Look, at least we don't have the Steelers schedule. That is very true. Get through this week. There's 0 chance they beat the Lions next week. Yeah. And there's 0 chance the Dolphins win out against the Browns and the Jets playing in Cleveland and in New York the last 2 weeks of the season. The cold weather, it is a thing, Dolphins do not play well in cold weather. So yeah, regardless of who wins this team, I don't think either one of us are going to be very happy, regardless of if you're a 49ers fan or a Dolphins fan. The Bucks are 4.5-point favorites in this one. I smashed that. I'm fully on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers bandwagon. Cooper Rush and the Cowboys played the Panthers last week, and they won pretty handily. But the Cowboys just aren't that good, and I think the Bucks. The more the Bucks get healthy, the better they're going to be. The Cowboys' rush defense is really, really bad. Bucky Irving and Rachaad White for the Bucks in their running attack is really good. Really, the biggest issue, Bucks should win. Yeah. Like I said, I'm fully on the Bucks bandwagon. As long as Baker Mayfield doesn't throw like a ton of interceptions, which he very well could. Baker is a little bit interception prone. The Bucks went out. I agree with you wholeheartedly that the Bucks went out. Let's see. Cowboys, Panthers, Saints. Yeah. They should win all three of those games really easily. Bucks -4. I don't know. Yeah, I bet them 4.5. Yeah, it's just for the Falcons, man, like Kirk fell off a cliff and he's had a rough game. I think Penix will be really good for them. I'm excited to watch him play for the first time today. But yeah, it was a rough stretch of games there for the Falcons. So yeah, I'm sorry about that, homie. I liked the Falcons coming into the season. I liked them at the beginning of the season, but yeah, Kirk just fell off a cliff, unfortunately. The Bucs defense is still a little bit banged up, but I think they're going to keep Cooper Rush and the Cowboys offense in check pretty well. Yeah, Bucs -4.5, easy bet in my opinion. And then we got the Monday night game next week. We have the Packers versus the Saints. As of right now, the Packers are 14-point favorites, and the Packers are going to dominate the Saints. This one's not going to be close. I don't know if they cover by 14 points, but it's in Green Bay in prime time. The Saints are a bad football team. The Packers are a very, very good football team. Not quite Vikings, Lions level, Eagles in the NFC, but they do this every year where the Packers have a bit of a slower start and then they play really well towards the end of the season. And I said it in the power rankings video. Yeah, it's same. I really want to bet the Packers -14, but it's just a lot of points. But I could very well see them winning by 21 points. So I agree with you. I avoided it just because of the line as well. But yeah, I said it in my power rankings video this week. At least the Saints suck. The Saints suck a lot. Yeah, so it could be worse. You could be a Panthers fan or a Saints fan. Being a Falcons fan could be much worse. Yeah, the Packers' offensive and defensive line are just dominant, and they're just going to bully the Saints in this one. Jordan Love will probably play well enough to win. Josh Jacobs is probably going to have a good game. After week 2, I called the Saints legit. Oh, week 2, my power rankings video, I put them at the number 2 spot or something crazy like that. The Rizzy Magic is strong. That is fair. That is fair. The Packers do like to lose to bad teams. I don't know. The Rizzler, I don't think the Rizzler has that magic in him. I don't see it happening. It would be funny. I think it would be really funny if the Saints beat the Packers, but I can't see a world where that happens outside of some just crazy things going wrong for the Packers. All right. Those are all the games. We got 3 minutes left in the stream. What questions do you guys have for me? What do you want to talk about? Worst part is if we cut Kirk, we lose a ton of money. Might have to cut someone like Grady Jarrett to have cap space. Do you think Rizzler will be the Saints head coach next season? I don't know. I don't know what head coaches are on the market. Brian Johnson or Ben Johnson for the Lions, the Bucks offensive coordinator whose name Liam Cohen. I'm trying to think, who are other head coaching candidates? Yeah, I don't know. The Rizzler might be the Saints head coach next year. I'm trying to think of all the coordinators that are probably going to go to head coaching jobs. Mike Vrabel. Ben Johnson's off the market. Listen, as somebody who is a low-key Lions fan, but not really a Lions fan, I would love for Ben Johnson to stay in Detroit. I don't think it's happening, though. I'm sorry. As much as I would love for him to stay in Detroit, I just can't imagine he will. But I didn't think he was going to stay in Detroit last year, and he did, so I could very well be wrong about that. Worst part is if we cut Kirk, we lose a lot of money, and might have to cut. Yeah, the dead cap hit for Kirk is going to hurt. And I know they're planning on cutting him before, excuse me, the March 17th deadline, so yeah, it was just I liked the Kirk Cousins signing for the Falcons before the season, but me and a lot of other people were very wrong about it. I think you should not cut Kirk because Michael Penix Jr. is injury prone, the high-end backup. Yeah. I don't know if Kirk stays in Atlanta as a backup, though. That's the only thing. He could probably get a starting quarterback job somewhere. Honestly, Kirk Cousins might go to the Jets, which would be just hilarious for so many things. Will Bill Belichick be a good college coach? I think so. I don't know. College is just so different than the NFL. Yeah, I'm going to say yes. Prematurely, just based off vibes and vibes alone, I think Bill Belichick will be a good college coach. I could very well be wrong about that, but I don't know. He knows how to get the guys motivated. Kirk makes too much money. Yeah. But the thing is, he's going to get paid $80 million guaranteed from Atlanta regardless. And so I could see a quarterback needy team, signing him on a smaller deal as kind of like a stopgap quarterback, kind of like what happened with Sam Darnold this year in the Vikings. And then Sam Darnold just absolutely went off and played great football for the Vikings. I could see something like that happening, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Jim Harbaugh thrives in both, so I think Belichick will be good. Yeah, Jim Harbaugh is a very good example of a coach who could be good in both. Okay, that's the end of the stream. Seems to be good at recruiting. Yeah, he really knows how to relate to 24-year-olds. I get that. All right, that's the end of the stream, you guys. I love you so much. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, thanks for streaming. Love your content, man. Keep it up. I appreciate it. Yeah, you guys rule. I really do love making this stuff and making these videos and doing the streams and stuff. And you guys joining me means a lot. Helps the channel grow. So you guys all rule. I love you all. And a new NFL meeting video is coming out tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. All right, see you guys.